Okay, in this lesson, we are going to talk about how to solve exponential equations using log. And so when we want the numerical answer, not in terms of log, we'll need our calculator. And so this first part is just kind of giving you some calculator buttons. And so there is a log button on your calculator. It's automatically log base 10. Notice there's no base, there's no subscript here. So when you type that, it's just base 10. And so if you want a different base, you have to press math, and then you're going to press alpha math alpha math. And so that will give you a chance to type in a different base and then your argument. And so math alpha math, I'm going to write that down for you, and it's also right here. Math alpha math. Press those buttons in that order and you'll get a different base. And so we're just going to practice evaluating logs. And so this is common log, and so we don't have to use math alpha math. We just press log 10. And we already know that's 1, but the calculator will tell you that as well. And we know natural log of e will also be 1 because base e and exponential base e is also 1. And so there's a natural log button in your calculator as well. And then to get e, it's the division key, but it's written in blue. So you're going to press second E, and then your answer is 1. Log of 100 I know is 2, but again, we can type it in our calculator. And so here is where we need math alpha math. We know 5 to the third power is 125, and so we know it's going to be 3, but we can practice with the calculator. Math alpha math. And you type the base, and then you type the argument. And so we get 3. Okay, and so now we're going to get some not so nice numbers because these aren't going to be integers. And so if I want to do log base 456, we're going to do math alpha math, math alpha math, log base 4 of 56. And so we're going to do 2.904. Now, if you don't have one of these newer versions of the calculator, you're not going to have the math alpha math option. And so that's what this change of base formula is. And so you do, to get a different base, you do common log of your argument divided by common log of your base. And so, for example, on the one I just did, in our calculator, we would do common log of the argument, which is 56, divided by common log of the base. Okay, and so when I type that in, I should get the same decimal. And so common log 56 divided by common log of 4. It's the same decimal. So if you have one of the older calculators, this trick will work for you. Okay, and so here I can do math alpha math, type my 800, 945. I get 1.025. It's saying round to the nearest thousandth, so that's 3 decimal places. Or I could do the change of base, log 945 divided by common log of 800. And so remember, the base needs to be on bottom. Base stays in the base. Okay, and then for this next one, math alpha math, 682. And so 2.459. Okay, and so this next one, math alpha math, log base 2 of 100 is 6.644. Math alpha math, log base 4 of 48, 2.792. Just to practice one more time with that change of base, I could do common log of 48 divided by common log of 4. And then we have natural log of 8. That's easy. There's a button for that. You get 2.079. All right, and so now we need to solve these exponential equations. In the previous unit, we could get a common base. On these next ones, we're not going to be able to get a common base. And so your first step for these is to isolate your exponential expression. This is my exponential expression. So my first step is to subtract 1 from both sides. Gives me 2 to the x equals 30. And then once you get to this step, you're ready to convert to log. And so the base is 2 of 30 equals x. So log base 2 of 30 equals x. And now we're done. And so in our calculator, we need to type log base 2, so math alpha math of 30, and we get 4.90, and it says round to the nearest thousand, so that's 3 decimals, so 907. So x equals 4.907 would be our final answer. Okay, and so once again, we are isolating the exponential expression, and so I'm assuming this is an 8.2. So here's my exponential expression. First step is we are adding the 0.5. We need to isolate. And so if you want, you can type that in your calculator. It's 43, but since you have it, might as well. And so 8.2 to the x minus 3 equals 43. And now that I have my base, my exponent, and my answer, I'm ready to convert. So it's log base 8.02 of 43 equals the x minus 3. Log base 8.2 of 43 equals x minus 3. And so we're ready to type that into our calculator. Math, alpha, math, have 8.2 in the base. We're going to get some really ugly bases when we get to applications. And so I get 1.7875, all that, but we're not done yet. We have to add 3 to both sides to isolate the log. And so while this number's in my calculator, I'm just going to type plus 3. And so my final answer is 4.78, and then that 5 will round that 7 up to another 8. And so that would be our final answer. Okay, this next one, the exponential is already isolated, so I'm ready to convert. I have log base 5 of 15.3 equals x plus 2. So log base 5 of 15.3 equals x plus 2. And before I type that in the calculator, I'm going to go ahead and isolate the x. I need to subtract 2. And so log base 5 of 15.3, and then a minus 2 outside the log. And so I can just type that in all at once. So math, alpha, math, I can type in base 5, 15.3, and then subtract the 2, and we get negative 0.305 for our x value. Okay, and so I don't know what's happening here. I think you would first just add the 2 because I'm assuming this 1/3 is only being multiplied by the base. That's what it looks like. So we have 1/3 times 9 to the x equals 9. And then to get rid of this multiplication by 1/3, we could multiply both sides by the reciprocal, which is 3. And so I get 9 to the x equals 27. And some of you could probably evaluate that in your head, but I'm going to convert. Base 9 of 27 equals x. Log base 9 of 27 equals x. Okay, math alpha math, 9, 27. And so we get x equals 1.5, which is also 3/2. Okay, and so always remember to check, since you have a calculator, you can also store values in the calculator, which will help us later. And so let's say I got this ugly decimal and I needed to use it later. You can press this store button at the bottom and then just press alpha in any letter you want. I usually do A because it's right there next to alpha, and then you can store it that way. So when I do alpha A, it automatically gives me that ugly decimal back.